Hey, good evening, everybody. We're going to get right into it today. This video is a little bit longer than I normally like, so we're going to forget about the monologue and just get right to rolling the dice. All right, so here we are back with another video, rolling with same bet. You know, this is a continuing effort to maybe catalog or watch what's going on with my particular toss. I'm going to be recording the results as we go along and just see how we do. Here we go, first roll. All right, that's going to be a hard 6. So a couple of things I'm doing a little bit different this time is, whoops, let me fix this real quick. Hard 6. There we go. Okay, so in that middle panel, you're going to see the dice results as I roll them. So we've got that going. And you're also going to notice a couple of other things that are a little bit different. You see a couple of green shapes. That center window, we've got a green bar going across the top. And then over on the dice grip, we have a circle. And what I'm really looking for here today is consistency. You know, we've done some videos on landing zone. We've done it on the release. This is a little bit different. I'm just trying to check and see, am I consistent all over the board? Let's see here, 415. And that bar is actually what's going to help me do that. Of course, we've got the Craps Nation KPI Tracker going, and we'll track our rolls. Now, I got to tell you guys, to be honest with you, I videoed this about 3 weeks ago. And just got super busy. I went to Vegas. My daughter had an art show. We've just been very, very busy these last few weeks. So it's taken me a while to get back to doing the editing and getting this out there. So here we go. Let's see where we're at. All right, so that's a 7. That's going to be a 617. Yeah, I think if you'll remember right, last time that we talked, we were talking about my release and how I could tell that my wrist was angled quite a bit. So up there at that green bar, that's what I'm kind of looking at. Am I flat or parallel with the table? That's really what we're looking for here today. And you know, I think I've said this on every video that I don't like showing the betting because it just slows everything down. And honestly, I'll make some mistakes along the way. So I just don't like showing it. But this is the video, this is the material I had to work with. So we're getting some betting in there as well. All right, so the placement looks good. And that's a 9. Let's see how it is real quick when I pull the dice back, and then I'll talk about it. And that is going to be a 459. Yep. Yeah, so again, let's watch that green bar in the middle and see how my my wrist ends up in that final position. So, you know, we've got the follow through. I just hold it there just for a second until the dice have hit that table, and then I'll bring my hand down. All right, setup looks good. And that's a 4, that's a 314. And you could definitely see, again, that twist in my wrist. I still haven't fixed that. Looks like I'm doing 110 inside and maybe a $15 pass line bet. Like I said, it's been 3 weeks. I don't really remember what I was doing at that time. All right, that's going to be a 325. Sorry, I moved my cursor off the tracker spreadsheet. There we go. 325. Yeah, and so when I was out in Vegas, I spent, I think it was 5 or 6 nights there. You know, I spent one night at the Rio. One night was definitely enough. And then I moved over to Bally's and spent the rest of the time out there. All right, it's back-to-back fives, it looks like. That's another 3, 2, 5. You know, I do enjoy Bally's. Bally's is a good location. It's connected to Paris, and I actually played quite a bit over at Paris. And it's a short walk over to Planet Hollywood. And I also played quite a bit over at Planet Hollywood. Now, this isn't an official trip report. It's just sort of something to fill in space while I'm setting up my next shot. But I got the chance to play that new hybrid table at Planet Hollywood. All right, here we go. Setup looks good. Okay. Boxcars. Yeah, so I got to play that new hybrid table over at Planet Hollywood. And there's a couple of videos out there. Toothpick Ted, a friend of mine, has done a great video on that table. But basically, if you can picture this, picture a real craps table. It's short. I think it's only maybe it's only 8 feet. It could be 10, but it's definitely shorter than a 12 or 14 foot table. All right, it's 549. Yeah, so it's definitely shorter than a 12 foot or 14 foot table that we're used to playing on. And around this table are 12 interblock electronic interface, terminals. And the shooter is just, they pick the first shooter, and then they go, I think it's clockwise around, and bring one shooter up at a time to actually throw dice on this table. They've got cameras above it and everything, and everybody, does all of their bets. Some of the great things about that is you have no landmines. You have nothing in your way. And it is a real table. All right, that's a 6, 516. Yeah, so it's a clean table, very much like what you would practice on at home. But it's also very short. And I found it difficult, actually, to adjust to the shorter table. My table that you see right here is a 14-footer. And I just had a hard time. I'll tell you a little bit more about that here in just a second. But basically, you have these 12, like I said, 12 stations that they choose the shooters from. Well, in addition to that, they have a bank of these terminals that you don't get to be the shooter, but you can still bet on the shooter. So it's the traditional stadium setup where you can play baccarat, blackjack, craps. I think that's it. All right, let's see what happens here. Setup's good. All right, that looked pretty good. Aces. Yeah, so Rick from Let It Roll and I, we played a lot on those machines, but we played on the ones that you couldn't be the shooter. So we were betting on live shooters. And, the pit boss there at Planet Hollywood, he was a great guy. He basically said, don't let me see the camera and do whatever you want. He was really cool about it. Okay, that was an ugly shot. And that's a 7 out. 5-2, 7 out. So anyways, we set it up and we started shooting or we started a Skype session between the two of us. I wasn't filming it or anything. We were just he was just on the other end, and we were just talking as I was playing, just like it would be like a bubble craps session. We're playing along, and in the screen, where you would normally see, sorry, excuse me just one second, there we go, where you would normally see the dice like popping up and down, from a bubble craps machine, well, it actually had a camera showing the shooter. All right, here we go. Come out, roll. That's a 549. Yeah, so we got this camera, and you get to actually see the person walk up, and you can see their toss, and you can see the results. It's actually a very nice setup, and I would venture to guess that this is kind of the future of craps. One dealer, we had, the 12 players around the table, plus another 15 or 20 other workstations. That's a lot of workstations they can get for one employee, and you get to actually throw the dice from the end of the table. So, I didn't really like that. I would have preferred from the side, but that's what you have to work with. All right, here we go. That looked okay. That's a 4, but is it a hard 4? I don't believe it is. I would have put an H on that, so that's a 3-1-4. Yeah, so here we are. We're watching the people walk up, and you see people. They'll set the dice. You'll see people that just pick them up and chuck them down to the end, and you're watching all of this, and then all of a sudden I see this girl walk up to the table, and I'm looking at it and say, I think I know her. And then I watched her toss, and I said, I do know her. Now remember, that's a 5-1-6. I'm at the stadium side. I'm not sitting in one of the 12 seats, so I don't have a crystal clear view of it. And the tables are literally behind me, so I can't see. And so I'm watching this lady up there throwing the dice, and I said, I've seen that dice. I've seen that toss. I know who this is. And I turn around, and sure enough, it was Mar from the Hawaiian Crap Shooters. She was there throwing the dice. It was great. Her and Carrie Coda, a friend of mine, they were there checking out the electronic table as well. Probably a couple of other people were there. Hang on just a second. That's a 538. The California Craps Club. He was there. He was there just watching. I don't think he was playing at that point. But anyways, I got to meet some neat people, and it was just a lot of fun. Here I am just, watching my screen, making my little bets, and then all of a sudden, is that who I think it is? No, I'm leaning in really close to see if I can get a better picture. When 20 feet behind me, it's the real deal. So I just turn around, and sure enough, there it was, Mar from Hawaiian Crap Shooters. Great thrill to actually meet her in person. I've talked to her on the phone, talked to her on interviewed her. Gosh, maybe it's almost been a year ago now. All right, there's 3-1-4. Yeah, so that was a huge thrill. I also met up with my friend Howard Newman. We went and had dinner one night, him and a friend of his named Dennis, and played over at South Point. And I didn't do well. I had a small bankroll with me that night, and long story short is I hit my loss limit and colored up with the few dollars that I had left. Here I go. All right, that's a 639. So yeah, I colored up with the few dollars that I had left, and then Howard changed positions. He went from from shooting from straight out to over at stick left 1, and then he proceeded to roll 28 times with no heat from the guys at South Point. They're kind of known for watching dice setters like a hawk and giving you any kind of grief. But Howard was patient. He was calm. He was cool and collected. Hit that back wall every time. Didn't give them a reason to give them any heat. And he went on a 28 rolls. Unfortunately, like I said, I colored up, so I didn't get to take advantage of that one. All right, let's see here. What do we got going next? Okay, setup looks good. The landing looked pretty good too. So that's a 9. Yeah, so Howard and Dennis and I, we had a great meal over at South Point, and got to shoot the dice and just had a great evening, just talking with them and just hanging out, just having a lot of fun. And then the next morning, I went over and met with Tony Leo, and we spent a couple hours together talking about craps. So we played some team strategies and again, just kind of hanging out, shooting the breeze. Talked a little bit about Baccarat, his new wage program. And I just had a fun, relaxing, couple of days, just hanging out with some of my friends, talking about craps, talking about gambling, spending a little time in the casinos, and who could ask for anything more than that? All right, here we go. It's a 369. It looks like that I might be getting that twist a little bit better under control. We'll watch a few more and see how it's going. Yeah, so I left Tony, and I think it was the next day, Mel from Craps Hawaii came into town, and he had an arrangement with El Cortez to do some filming there at the tables. And I tell you, we had a celebrity table is probably the way I put it. You know, we had a lot of the people that you would see on YouTube there on the table. And hang on one second. All right, 6-5 yo. So I think we had the table reserved for 2 hours. And I think Mel was telling me that it actually took 3 hours for the dice to go all the way around the table one time. Now, again, kind of the theme of my trip, I was a little too late to the party. I gave up my spot to let other people play, to get some other people on the table, because I knew I'd be playing with Mel a little later. That's another 9. So I didn't get on the table until the very end, and I tell you, I think what we heard was $17,000. I think was taken off the table that in that few hour period. Another great session, and fortunately, Mel videoed it, so he is going to be doing one of his live videos. He's working on it right now, getting it cleaned up and ready to present. And he'll be posting it on his channel here any day now, I would imagine. 369. Looks like we've got some fairly decent consistency going on. Just a quick check, a 7.7 SRR. 23 rolls in. Okay, we'll take it. Yeah, and earlier in the day, I had met Mel, and we were going to go to breakfast. You know, he said, "Come on down to El Cortez, and we'll get some breakfast." And I get there, and we're waiting on a couple of other people, and he's on the table. He's actually shooting, and he says, "Give me a few minutes, and then we'll go get some breakfast." Well, he went on to roll for about 45 minutes, and again, I wasn't on the table because I just thought it was going to be a couple of minutes, and we'd go get some food. So Mel. Congratulations on a long run. 6-4-10. All right. Now I know today's video is going to go a little bit long, and I know that I like to try to keep these as short as we can. But like I said, it's been about 3 weeks, so I don't really remember how this ends up. So we're going to keep going here. Heart 8. Yeah, so there's not much more to tell you really about the Vegas trip. The best way to sum it all up is I relaxed. I had some fun. I didn't worry about filming and trying to get some footage for channels. I got a little bit, but nothing to really speak about. Met with some great friends and just had a good time. So it was a good vacation for me. Card 8. All right, so that bumps the SRR up to 8.7. Looks like we've hit the 9. We're on the 10 right now. No 2s, no 3s, no 5s, no 12s. So we haven't hit the tall, the small. We haven't hit any of those yet. And we're 26 rolls in. To be honest with you, I normally don't make any of those. So I don't bet on myself. I'm not a sniper like Ed from Roll to Win Craps or George from CY. I'm not good at changing my dice sets to target certain numbers. I go for the longevity. I want to try to make as many winning rolls as I possibly can. All right, there's a 4. And it looks like the 9 is the hot number of the day. By the way, I am doing the 3-2-3-6 3V set. Boxcars. I just said it, that I very rarely do it. And there we go, we got the tall. I do have to tell you guys, that is not normal for me. So if you're on the table with me, think twice about that all tall small. I didn't get my arm up quite as high as I normally do. That's a 6-4-10. I think in my next video, I might eliminate one of the cameras and make a bigger box. Probably from the end. I would like to see the actual release. Are they coming out of my hand at the same spot? So I've got that green bar saying, where does my hand end? But where are the dice coming out? Is that coming out at the same spot each time? All right, that's 5. Looks like I just pulled down that 5 to the odds. Now I'll tell you, let's hold that thought. Okay, it's an 8, 6-2-8. I've been working on something that, so in my next video, I really want to see it. So I use that 3-finger grip. So, you know, I've got the 3 fingers in the front of the dice. Well, if you'll notice, quite often, one of my dice is going to fly higher than the other. So I've been trying to work on lightening my touch. And one of the ways that I'm doing that is when I pick up the dice, I'm only picking it up with the 2 fingers. And then, whoops, I just dropped it. Let's grab another one. So I'll pick it up with the 2 fingers, and then I'll come in and lightly put my others on there. I found that when I'm picking up with all 3 fingers, I have too tight of a grip. Maybe too much pressure with that first and third finger. All right, that's a 6, 4, 2, 6. Now, what I've discovered is the dice look better flying in the air, but it's too early to tell if my results are really any better. So we're going to continue to work on that. So the pickup is probably the next thing that I want to work on in this series on mechanics. Wow, we're actually 20 rolls in on this one. 32 rolls for the entire session, but 20 rolls on this hand. Look good. So 3-1. No, I'm sorry. It's an ace deuce. So just looking through it, looks like I need aces for the small and the all. Okay, looks good. $3, 6, 9. You know, I love it when both dice come back. They're a couple of inches away from each other and they're in the field of view of that camera, because I know if they're in the field of view of that camera, that was a pretty controlled shot. I didn't have one dice that just jetted off to the side. That's a pretty decent shot. Here we go. Good. Oh, I'm good. 437. So real quick, a rundown. So I shot 3 times here. I had a 23, a 9, and a 3, with the 9 being the dominant number by far. You know, everything else looks really good. My box number hits were 77%. Inside numbers are great. Hardways were even good. And my field numbers, that's in the red zone. So I actually didn't throw a lot of fields, but when I'm talking about consistency, that's okay. This is kind of what I wanted to see. I want to see a lot of those box numbers. I want to see a lot of those inside numbers. All right, so there you have it. That was my attempt at some consistency. And with the green bars, I could see in my playback, are my mechanics consistent? And that's something I think I want to keep up. I do want to make sure that I'm doing it the same way, every time. And if I'm not, what adjustments do I need to be making, and does it translate to results? So stay tuned. We'll have some more of these videos coming out soon. But for now, hope you enjoyed it. We'll catch you next time.